Alright, so today we're doing part 6 of the 2-speed fully suspension off-road go-kart. Now, within the next few days, I will be collaborating with Quad Racers. Now, if you don't know who they are, I'll have a link in the description below of their channel. But you guys probably already have heard of them and probably are subscribed to them. So, Penny Pincher from Quad Racers is coming down here and he's bringing one of his quads. And we're going to be going to an off-roading park that's kind of near me, and I'm going to be bringing this. Now, what we're doing in this video is we're going to be making this a little bit more off-road friendly. I want to add a bigger gas tank, I want to add the e-brake, I want to possibly add a light bar, and there's just a few things that I want to do just to make this, you know, more off-road ready, just to make sure it's not going to break down in the middle of the woods. Alright, so same thing with every gas tank that I make from scratch. Once I'm done welding on it, I always pressure test it underwater just to make sure there's no leaks. So, we have an air hose set to 15 psi because I do not want to blow this thing up. This is very thin metal and I don't want to put too much air in here and possibly risk it rupturing in my face. So, just going to put a little air in and call that good. And then make sure nothing's leaking. Unfortunately, the cap is leaking. I put a bunch of Teflon tape around there, but it's a gas cap. It's gonna be on the top. I can't control that. you know, as tight as I can turn it onto the onto there, but it's still leaking. But it's not that big a deal. As long as there's no welds that are leaking, we should be good. Alright, so far, no leaks. Alright, so I just finished my collaboration with Quad Racers. That went really well. He brought over his quad that he got from the TV show, The Outsiders, and I'll be uploading those videos within a couple weeks. Unfortunately, I'm having to limit myself to uploading only one video a week, just because if I may be going out of town again. If they are getting that job up there, they're going to need my help with that, and I'm going to have to go back out of town, so therefore I'm having to limit myself to one video a week, so therefore while I'm out of town I can still upload something. But anyway, those videos will be uploaded, you know, with next week and the week after that. But yeah, we went over to my local off-roading park. He brought his quad, I brought this, and unfortunately those trails were really more meant for quads, ATVs, dirt bikes, and stuff like Jeeps, stuff like that. But because this was really kind of out of its league with those trails, they were really more difficult, steep, they were really rocky, rocks everywhere, and just really more of a challenge. But this handled it pretty well considering what those trails were. I did record a lot of footage. Unfortunately, it was raining the whole time, so the lenses kept getting dirty, so I'm not really sure how much of that footage is usable, but I'll figure that out once I edit that video. But the go-kart handled it pretty well. The suspension worked great. Unfortunately, I wish I had fully independent rear suspension. That would have made the ride a lot more comfortable and would have allowed me to go a lot faster. The 2-speed transmission, it handled it really well. Unfortunately, it's not meshing properly with, you know, first gear, second gear, stuff like that. It's not meshing correctly with the side plates. So I have to take it apart and drill the holes out a little bit bigger to allow it to mesh properly. It was getting stuck in first gear, and it was being really challenging to get it into neutral and stuff like that. But there's some things I can improve with that. Now the engine, it handled it pretty well, but towards the end it kept, you know, wanting to die. I kept having to start it back up again. The engine kind of really didn't handle. The engine kind of struggled towards the end of riding, just trying to stay alive and stuff like that. It started to sputter, and I took the carburetor apart, cleaned it, and then I broke the carburetor. The bolt that, you know, holds on the float bowl, I actually stripped that out. So I now need a new carburetor for the engine. But anyway, now the torque converter, it had a major problem, which made it a real challenge to drive this off-road. The driver pulley, the part where when you rev the engine up, the part that, you know, slides out to engage with the belt, it got stuck, engaged with the belt, even if the engine was off. So therefore it meant if I wanted to stop, I had to kill the engine. If I wanted to start back up again, I would have to put it in neutral, start the engine up, rev the engine a little bit, and then grind it into first gear. If I didn't rev the engine a little bit and I just slammed it in first gear, it would kill the engine. So that definitely made it a really good challenge to drive this off-road. For some reason, it just got stuck, engaged. I don't know if it's a heating issue because after we loaded it on the truck, we got home, the part that slides out finally slid back in. So I don't know if it's a heating issue. I don't know if it's a lack of lubrication issue. So I definitely have to take that apart and find that out. But other than that, there was another problem that we had where the jack shaft, the pillow block bearing that's right next to the first gear, it kept sliding forwards, and the first gear, the chain for the first gear kept loosening and started skipping teeth. So we had to stop like 5 or 6 times to loosen those bolts and slide the whole jack shaft back, tighten in the chain, then tighten those bolts back up. That was a bit of annoying, so I definitely need to improve that design a little bit, put something behind it where I can tighten a bolt that's pushing it sideways, therefore it's going to lock it in place and not allow it to slip. So the way I look at it is it's a learning experience. I now know things I need to improve, things I need to change to make it better, and all that kind of stuff. It's more of a learning experience the way I look at it, and there's definitely a lot of things I can change with this to improve it, make it a little bit more off-road friendly and stuff like that. But yeah, it handled it really well considering what this is. And now I'm really glad I added this ammo box. I was kind of considering not adding it, but I'm really glad I did. I was able to put a lot of tools in here and extra pieces like connecting links for the chain. If I didn't do that, there was one point while we were riding in the middle of the woods, like 2 miles into the woods, where I was going pretty fast, the rear tires hit, a really big rock. It bounced the whole rear end in the air, the engine revved up, the tires spun up real fast. When it slammed back down on the ground, it ground everything to a halt, and the chain that connects the torque converter to the jack shaft, the connecting link snapped off and flew off in the woods somewhere. And if I didn't pack extra, that would have been it. Tow it back to the truck, it would have been dead in the water. But I'm really glad that I packed extra stuff of that, connecting links, tools to change all that stuff out, tools to tighten up bolts and stuff like that. If I didn't add that stuff, this would have been dead in the water a couple times. So really glad that I added this. Now the gas tank works really well. I know it's kind of overkill. It's way more gasoline. It can hold way more gasoline than you'd ever need for this go-kart, but the way I look at it is you fill the gas tank up, you don't have to worry at all about ever running out. So that's the way I look at it. Now, you can see that the frame's really starting to rust. It's still really dirty. I need to hose this thing off. Next thing I need to do with this go-kart, once I change a couple things, improve a couple things here and there, then I need to start painting this project. So that's probably going to be the next video of this project, is painting it. Now I do eventually want to add that paneling on here. I didn't add it yet just because I still haven't figured out how I'm going to do it, but I'm thinking about adding, just more cross bracing right here and then just tack welding it onto there and calling it done, painting it, and then I have an idea on adding a giant Rather Be Welding logo right here, and then below that adding a Go Power Sports logo. I think that would be really cool. I think that would look really cool with this. But now I have to thank Go Power Sports for sending me all the parts I used for this go-kart. Everything you see here minus the engine and the ammo box I got from Go Power Sports. I'll be leaving links to everything in the description below. Go check all that out. And if you're wondering where I got this ammo box, I got it at Walmart for $10. It's a pretty good deal for it being metal, and it's $10. It's you can't beat that price. But anyway, enough rambling. I gotta end the video here. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and have a nice day.